Hello, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to use the blending modes in Photoshop to experiment with some of your edited architecture photographs. So the first thing you need to make sure is that you have kind of quite a few photos edited that you can experiment with, and then open up Photoshop. And once you've got Photoshop open, I'm going to open up two of my edited photos that are both portrait in format. So it's edit 1 and edit 2 is also portrait. So I've got them both on separate tabs here, and you need to make sure that they're both the same size. So earlier I kind of cropped them and resized them so that the width is 10 centimeters and the height is 15 centimeters on both images, and the resolution is 300 pixels per inch. Then you use your move tool, which is this arrow, and drag one image over and place onto the other one. And because they're the same size, they will match up. Okay, the really important in this is that you have your layers palette visible here. If for whatever reason you can't see it, go to Window and then make sure that layers is ticked. So I've currently got it visible. And you'll see that one image, layer 1, is placed on top of the background layer. So where it says normal here, these are your blending modes. So this section here are the ones that kind of darken pixels, so one image placed over another. This section here are ones where they kind of lighten pixels. This one here, these are called contrasting blending modes, so they increase the light and the dark areas of the pixels of both images. These ones here are composite blending modes, and these ones here all look at kind of varying the colour and the vibrancy of your images. So what I'm going to look at for this tutorial is this section here, the contrast. So I'm going to start with overlay and see how that looks. So immediately you get this really experimental image where you can see parts of both in the same shot. If you think it's too much, so it's a bit too intense, you can go to the opacity slider and then reduce the opacity. So I do think in this case it looks a bit better. It's not at 100%. You can have a look at the other contrast kind of blending modes here. I mean, so far I think that, for example, is over edited, whereas the overlay has got a nice kind of aesthetic, a nice look to it. So once you're happy with how much you've blended the two layers together, you can then save this and have it as more of an experimental edit on your blog. So File, Save As. So I'm going to call this Overlay 1. Now in this case this file is a Photoshop file, which means that both of those layers are going to open if you need to re-edit the photo. So Photoshop and the layers box. So I'll save one as a Photoshop file, and then I'm going to save another version as a JPEG, which will be the one that goes on the blog. So File, Save As, call it Overlay 1, but this time change the format to JPEG and save. Okay, and then the JPEG, like I said, I'll upload to the Tumblr. Okay, so in this tutorial then you can have a look at how to use blending modes to create experimental architecture photographs.